Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for what I believe is the 19th edition of this tier list. I cannot believe how much has evolved. I'm very, very proud of it. And I want to get into it as quickly as possible here because we do have some promotions into the top shelf tier. Some of them, two of them, champions who many of you have been like, dude, you've shown us how good they are. Why are they not in top shelf? But it's time to get them up there. Also, we now have Carina's Volume 2 in the game. We're going to talk a little bit about some champions who are probably seeing more use of that, and it's highlighting how good they are as champions. They just haven't had a place to be used, but we've known they are quality champions. And then last but not least, we keep adding more emojis to add some more nuance onto this. Now we have Battlegrounds. We know they're coming to the game. It will be a whole mode of the game. And there are champions who you might consider ranking if that's going to be a really important mode of the game for you, or you want to be very successful. And I do think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's something for us to start taking into account. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we get to some of those champions where maybe you want to move them up a tier in your own. Because remember, that's what this whole thing is about, is rank up advice. This game is so incredibly complex. Never will one champion just always be better than all the rest. And that's why we have so few tiers. I want to show you how good so many of the champions are in this game and worthy of ranking. And then you'll also notice this is a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet will be linked in the description of this video. And many of these champions have links. You can go to the link. It'll take you to a playlist on my channel where there'll either be a video from me or one of the many amazing people who is helping me out. I have a rankings team. This game is so complex. No one can know every champion, the whole thing. I have been very fortunate that I've become friends with a lot of these people. They have channels that I watch to get better at this game. I truly do. I watch their channels, I watch their war videos, I watch their champion reviews, I watch their streams, and I've gotten better at this game because of it. And there are a variety of amazing players up there, all of them. Do yourself and do them a solid, go subscribe and also get better at this game. They help me out with this rankings. They spend a lot of time on it, going back and forth. It's a really, really cool process, and I appreciate them doing that so much. Also, last, there will be a screenshot at the end. I'll remove the face cam, get that out of the way, and we'll do a nice screenshot for you all. All right, let's jump into this. We have the pre-12.0 switch tier. That one was really pretty much just created to make the rest of the rankings make sense. Remember, this is all about rank up advice. You gotta go play the champion, because if you don't like them, you won't play them. So go play the champion, watch some of these videos. But this tier was created because they just have the ability to almost like turn off some of the nodes or turn off the game, or it almost just doesn't matter. And the one I always like to point out here is Red Magneto. I actually don't think you need to rank him up to the maximum level. He's just so powerful in the fights where he is powerful that you might be well better off ranking up a white Magneto or a champion in the super premium. I always like to point that out to people in every video I can remember to do that. So we'll go ahead and just scroll down quickly so that you can see it. And there you go. And there you go. So now we're done with Cosmic. Now let's get to the top shelf. This is they're just the best. They're just the best. They're worthy of ranking. It doesn't matter your account, where you're at, and all those sorts of things. And I want to get down to our first one. We've got a nice little microphone about, so it can help remind me to talk about it. Spider-Man 2099 Miguel. I'll admit, when he first came into the game, I had him pegged wrong. I actually thought he was a defender. But then we started seeing the things he can do. He's handling these massive ability power gains. You put him on with that synergy team with anti-venom, and he starts the fight with a wither. He's just handling it for you. And mine, I didn't get assigned him a lot in the previous war season, but we're seeing Karate Mike, a lot of the SSX players use him. He was obviously dominating. I took mine to rank 4 Sig 200, and I just started dominating content. I will eventually get like a review kind of showcase video out on him, but he is just so insanely good. And one of the things that's coming to light more and more is it's not just his wither, it's not just his ability to turn off this power gain. He actually is semi-tanky. You can play him pretty aggressively. He gets these resistances when he gets hit. Also, he's got the physical vulnerability off of the SP1. Thank you, Fluffy Pig Monster, for pointing that out. He's building up these ruptures that are doing consistent damage. As you get his Sig higher, they are actually refreshing instead of just going away when they burst. There's a lot to this guy. There is a lot to him. He does not gain buffs, which allows you to take a lot of different nodes and defender combinations and make that a little bit more simple. His heavy has a really nice reach on it. He's just a fantastic all-around champion. He's definitely someone that's worthy of ranking no matter where you're at. We have him with the Awakened ability as part of his him being in top shelf. You're going to want him Awakened, and then the more SIGs you throw into him, the more you're going to see, because he's going to get that ability power rate is going to grow. That combat power rate will gets up to 25% at SIG 200. You'll really see that benefit when he has a Wither on the opponent. It's part of what makes that synergy with Anti-Venom so incredibly powerful for him, because it starts the defender off with a Wither. And then the other one is Nimrod. The other one that has been promoted to the top shelf is Nimrod. I know a lot of you have been calling that for a while. With both of these champions, Nimrod more so, is the day I pulled him or soon thereafter, I was like, this guy is awesome. This guy is awesome. I didn't even fully understand his kit. You know, that takes a while. I put out, I think, 3 videos on him. One was the initial, like, I just love this dude. He is owning and destroying things, and it's not just mutants, and I'm trying to kind of fully understand why. And then as I ranked him up, as I played him more, I understood, and I likened him to a Mystic Human Torch. And I know that's very common in this game when there's a really powerful champion. We're like, oh, this is a skill version of that, or a tech version of this, or whatever. But in this one, it's totally true, because the fact of the matter is he destroys mutants. The only one I don't love fighting with Nimrod is Bishop. But even that, it can work. But aside from that, he just destroys them. Additionally, though, he also destroys healing, if there's a duration to it, and prowess. And those are things that are in the game in nodes, and that other champions, not just mutants, have. And they ramp him up just like Torch is ramped up by Mystics and energy damage, which is in this game. So I don't feel like that's not embellishing. That I think that's just what this guy is. And then we have players like DLL showing what the SP3 can do. Even in my last 2 videos where it's like, I'm going to show him in this contest, and then I'm going to show him versus prowess and healing. I didn't even show the SP3. I hope a lot of you are really listening what I'm talking about, though. You get him awakened. That's a big deal, just that initial awakening. And then every SIG is going to help you more because it's increasing the potency and the duration. His SP1 is actually really nice, guys. It's got the energize off of it, plus the energy vulnerability, which is great for fighting champions like Havoc. It's just great. And then you can get to your SP2 very, very quickly. Do not sleep on that portion of him. I think this guy is well suited now. And as we see more prowess, more healing added game, and we got Omega Sentinel coming with a really cool synergy that's going to help Nimrod in case the defender is shock immune. Oh boy, and she's looking good herself too, so that's a nice pairing. He's just, sky's the limit for this guy. I feel very confident with him there. Science and tech are very similar in this regard right here, that their top shelf ranking, like you could make an argument for any of them to be at the highest rating in the top shelf or the lowest. They're just really a grouping. They're truly a tier there. I feel like they fit well together. So try not to get too concerned with whether Nimrod's better than Ultron or Guardian. Or whatever. They're all great. They're all great. They serve purposes. That's the point of this. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I want to spend as much time as possible talking about them, though, because they're just fantastic champions. And then, okay, the first one we're going to talk about, which really due to Carina's, is Knull. I know that there's almost been a bit of a pendulum backlash on Knull about like, yeah, but where are you really using this guy? Now, I've shown you videos showing he's actually great at questing. We took him into 7.3, I believe it is. He's fantastic at questing. I used him on stream. We did, it was like a 3.5 hour stream, and I used him without recoil tree, and the dude was owning things. He is fantastic. He is excellent. He is very good. Yes, in war, which is very hyper specific, or in some other pieces of content, I can see they're being like, well, Corpse is a little bit better. Hercules is a bit better. We want Venom because we're fighting the Penny. We want Odin because we need the True Strike. I totally get that. But Knull is an incredibly well-rounded, very powerful champion, and Carina's is now showing it off. He's the first champ we're going to get. He's really going to, I believe, is going to be extremely helpful. I know that there's streams that have been done for. I have not gotten to that yet. I will. But I know I'm going to be using my Knull. He's a fantastic champion. And you can use him for a variety of things, including helping you solve Carina's Volume 2. All right, so now we'll move on to the super premium tier, and we have our first champion that has that emoji, the legend, the sticker with the cross swords. Thank you, DLL, is a great idea. And that's to signify it's like very likely this champion will have a raised value for you in BGs. Now, Dragon Man, I happen to love him. I've done some review videos on him. I like him offensively a lot, especially if you compare him with Kitty Pryde, who's pretty good at this game. It helps him get into his ramp significantly faster, but the portion with the cross swords will almost always be, in all of these as you look at them, that the champion is effective on offense. They're good enough. They're going to help you win some fights. They have offensive skill sets like Dragon Man does, but they're also troublesome defenders. So as you're filling out that kit, out that deck, you're bringing them in, and someone's maybe going to have to choose a specific attacker or two to deal with the defender you brought in. Now, a lot of that's coming down to strategy, and that's why we're just saying very likely raises your their value in BGs. I'm not moving them a whole tier, and when BGs actually come out, I'm thinking about doing like a monthly tier list for them specifically based on the node set that's in there, but that's not there yet. We're all getting excited for it. I've started ranking up champions for it. Dragon Man and all of these ones with the crosswords are ones that I would consider if I'm at that place in the game. We'll talk about it a little bit more as we see some more of them, but that's kind of the general idea here. Think about like troublesome defender who can also do things for me offensively, so I feel good about bringing them in. They're gonna cause problems for my opponent, and I will be able to use them to solve problems. The next champion that we know we want to talk about here is Strife in the super premium tier. Oh, and for those who aren't familiar, super premium means yeah, if you come and ask me, because the most common question I get asked as a YouTuber is, should I rank up this champion? If my first instinct is yes, and then I start to wonder about your account and specifics, you go in super premium. So Strife. Strife is someone who I've been very high on for a very, very long time. I was not in the CCP when he came into the game, so I wasn't part of that initial hype, but I mean it in a good way. I don't think it was bad hype. I think it was deserved. I really like him. I even enjoy questing with him. The only issue I have with him is at times he can feel a bit clunky. I do think a little bit of that, though, is being unfamiliar with playing him. There's a lot of utility in this guy's kit. And if you're not familiar with playing him, you have to think a little bit too much. And as the nodes get more complex, it can be a little difficult to access whatever utility out of his kit you're trying to do. Plus, the ramp can be a little bit frustrating if you get hit, so I can understand that he can be the source of a lot of frustration for people. That being said, again, Carina's Volume 2, we're gonna see him being used more. My buddy Nerd, he's used him in Abyss already. We're gonna see that more. I'm actually very tempted to bring in Strife as well, but it kind of comes into that age-old problem, or the problem with Strife, quote unquote, is Apocalypse is so good, and you bring them in together, you kind of want to bring up Apocalypse, but Strife himself is excellent. I could see Carina's pushing his value up for people. Keep an eye on that. I don't think it's worthy of promoting him to like top shelf or something like that, but just keep an eye on it. He has been moved up a little bit even in that tier. Sunspot. I had to almost fight. It got a little ugly in the rankings review chat there when I posted this. There's some vocal people, Jacob, who really want Sunspot moved down, and I can't say that they're wrong. But the fact of the matter is I actually use Sunspot quite a bit in 7.3. Not a ton, but probably for 3 or 4 lanes. He applies so many debuffs so quickly, and then can simultaneously end a fight, even with these massive health pools quickly, that you don't have enough time to make a bunch of mistakes. And for me, that has value. That still has value. That being said, the mutant class is so stacked. I get it. I see it. We're going to keep an eye on him. So if you're seeing this now and you're wondering about Sunspot and you don't really need to rank him, maybe hold off unless you just really enjoy him. He's a good champion. I used him myself. But I do have to recognize that as the game continues to evolve, some champions' value is going to fall and some champions will rise. His may be falling just a little bit. Let's go ahead and continue to move down. We don't really need to talk about it a lot, but I did move Silver Centurion to the top of Super Premium. He's really good, folks. I might be making another video on him. I put the video out on him there. I've taken him to rank 3. I am loving using this guy. He was fantastic for me in the CCP beta on Battlegrounds. I actually just used him in war, and he actually get me to make a war video on a war that had a lot of bugs, and I didn't want to make a video, but he was so good, and I want to show him to people. He's great. He's excellent. Yeah, let's keep that in mind. All right, now we're going to get to Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey's a really tough one because the fact of the matter is, I do not believe he is as good as Crossbones, Elsa Bloodstone, or Falcon. I just don't. If I had more tiers in this, he would be a tier below. But I want to keep this as lacking complexity as possible because I want everyone to recognize how many great champions worthy of ranking up that can clear content are in this game. He may get moved down. He's been someone who's actually was recently promoted within the last like 5 or 6 months, maybe 8. But he used to be in premium. I think he might be going back. He's just flimsy. It is what it truly is. And maybe that's what we should do is add like a high skill marker to him. If you're Legacy, if you're Karate Mike, if you're MP Blaze, that sort of style player, then maybe he's great for you and you can get so much out of him. But again, this is about rank up advice. Could see him moving down. He still's got those crits. He works well with his recoil tree. I get it. I really do. He is the source of one of my deaths this season. So he's a painful defender, and that's why he's got the cross swords there. But just something to keep in mind. Don't be shocked if you see him being moved down in the not too distant future. All right, and then that is it for Super Premium. So now let's get to Premium, which really makes up for me, the meat and potatoes of it. This is part of why my tier list is set up the way it is, formatted in this way, is because you come and you ask me should I rank up this champion? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? They're really good. Let's talk through your account a little bit. Let's make sure they're filling a role. Let's make sure you maybe know how to use them or something like that. But yeah, this champion can help you clear content. They're not the top shelf. They're not the one the vast majority of videos YouTubers, us YouTubers, that's not who we're typically making the videos on. That's not who you're seeing. But that doesn't mean they can't clear content, and you might have a ton of fun with them. And so that's what I want to show off. That's why the premium tier is so important, and I want to highlight that as much as possible. We've got Mojo. You see a lot of these mystics, and a lot of that's due to mystic dispersion. Might be really helpful in Battlegrounds because if you run off with mystic dispersion, they're going to be troublesome defenders. That's why you see them so much in war. But they can do things offensively. We've been talking about Mojo back and forth for a while. He's another champion where if there was more tiers, he would be definitely moved up. Man Thing, I just took to rank 3, used him on stream too. I think people were a little surprised how effective he was. He's very, very good. Sasquatch is a real pain in my side right now in war, but otherwise I do like him. Longshot. Longshot is another champion where with Carina's, we could see him being moved up. My buddy Nerd was actually kind of arguing that he should be maybe moved up anyway. I can't say that Nerd is wrong. I cannot say that at all. I actually have very limited experience with Longshot. But a lot of the group in the rankings team was like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. He can even do damage when there's not a ton of buffs. I know that was one of the initial kind of negative thoughts on him was that he needed those buffs, but I don't know if he necessarily needs that. He's an effective champion. If you've got him, you can use him in Abyss. He can do a lot for you. And I would not be shocked if he gets moved up into the Super Premium, maybe the lower portions of it at some point in the next few months. Let's kind of keep an eye out on him. And if you're a long shot lover, please let me know. And let me know how you've used him. I always enjoy reading the comments and learning a lot from you all when we go through this. Let's go ahead and scroll on down. And we will get to the science portion of premium. Miles, just increasing value. I think we're seeing it happen. We're seeing the value of being able to be missed, and then the damage off of him with that SIG going up. It's really nice. I kind of enjoy playing him too. Also, he's probably going to be helpful in Battlegrounds, can be a troublesome defender at points in time. He's just kind of an interesting one. I more want to keep an eye on him. That's why we've got the little microphone emoji there. Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom's a very interesting one. Right now, he's currently just basically, he's Spider-Man 99's bag holder. He's like, what do you need, boss? I will do it for you. He's a synergy partner, but I don't love him. I gotta say, I don't like champions where you build up this utility and then you cash in that utility to hopefully do enough damage to end the fight. I don't like that, because for me it's like, well, what if you lose the utility, or you don't finish the fight in that cash in moment? Additionally, while you're building that utility, it takes a while. Things can go wrong. So there's a little bit about him I don't love, but he's got that very unique immunity set. And the fact is, he can reverse healing very well. He does have nice utility. I think we're going to see him be valuable in Carina's. It will not surprise me. I may even rank 3 my own, or bring in my rank 2 when I do that challenge. Bring him in, see how that goes. Let's keep our eye on him. All right, and let's scroll on down. We're going to get to our first of the 2 new champions, which is cool. Captain America Sam Wilson. I wanted to like this guy a ton, and I don't dislike him. I just think he needs more damage, or his kit needs better flow. And when I talk about flow, it's about when you're playing the champion and you're just playing them and you're taking them in for these nodes or defenders that they kind of designed for, you think they'll be good for. I like it when the abilities are just available, just by naturally playing them, or you can set things up pretty smoothly and easily. And I feel like accessing a lot of his utility is quite difficult in a single fight. And when you go for these big payoffs, they're just not there. Now, I know a lot of his fans will tell you, like, yeah, you don't do that. Like, it's that simple, dude. Don't try to go in for a big payoff, because that's not him. And I think they're right. But the fact of the matter is that then means that fight is lasting a little bit longer. Now, maybe he is truly just for Battlegrounds and War, and we're really going to see him shine there, in which case, as Battlegrounds becomes a full-on mode and we know what those rewards are and we see how important that is into the game potentially, he will get moved up. If he's dominating Battlegrounds and he's dominating War, and those are very, very fruitful, let's say, or rewarding experiences for players, of course he's going to get moved up. But I want to see that happen first. I like him. I get it. I see him having value. I'm the one who just talked about how valuable champions in the premium tier are. I also don't want to overstate it, though. And right now, I'm not seeing a lot of times where I'm like, yeah, Cap Wilson, that's the guy I need to bring in for this. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Also, make sure you play him. Make sure you play him and you're comfortable with how his kit flows together. I personally didn't like it. Doesn't mean you won't. And then the next champion here we're going to get to is Misty Knight. I think the one thing that needs to be said about her that stood out to me and made me kind of almost open some crystals and think about it, but I'm going to wait for the featured, the next featured 6-star, which is only, I think, about a month away. The ability to go completely unblockable and not have to throw specials. One of the things I always value in this game is champions who power comes easily, or messing with their power doesn't hurt them. If you can just go unblockable and not have to throw specials to do damage, then that means nodes that are screwing with your power or polka dot power or things like that, they don't detract from you as much, or you don't need a champion with these big massive power gains like a Dragon Man or a Hyperion, which is part of why I value them as highly as I do. So if she's just flat out getting around that alone is a massive piece of utility, in my opinion. She has more than that, and I'm very much looking forward to her coming into the featured 6-star crystal. I think she might be one of those champions that Kabam is very easily able to make more valuable for an account through nodes and through defenders, or as more people get her, we're able to see, wow, she is solving a variety of problems. No, maybe she is not the best answer for all of these problems, but she's good enough at solving them that she's who I want to take on this quest, on this questing team, because she's going to knock out 3 of the 8 fights for me. And then that means I only need these 4 other champions to handle those 5 or 4 other fights. I'm bad at math, but I think you understand where I'm going with that one. Let's go ahead and move on. I think we've pretty much covered it. This is just going to be a lot of the champions who have the Battleground designation there. And America Chavez, there she is. I've actually been playing her a bit more. I can see nodes and things like that where I get it, like she's hitting a little bit harder or whatever, but she still needs that tune-up. Please, Kabam, do that soon. We will go ahead and get to the screenshot here in just a minute, but thank you so much for watching. I always enjoy reading the comments. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've learned so much from it, And like I said, thank you so much to the rankings team for being a part of this and all the time you put into it and the back and forth. I know I ask a lot of questions when you all give the feedback, and I appreciate you going ahead and answering those questions and giving your opinions and kind of defending your arguments a lot. I really appreciate it. I think we're helping people out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll get to the screenshot. Take care. There's a screenshot. I know a lot of you requested this, and that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. If you could do me a solid though, after you take that screenshot, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, and throw in the comment section like, dude, thanks for the screenshot, really appreciate it, something like that. Help me out with that YouTube algorithm. And then pick 1 or 2 or 3 of the rankings team. Go ahead and subscribe to them. Check out their videos. I promise you'll get better at this game. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.